Life is a time pass, क्या फर्क पड़ता है, कोई दिक्कत नहीं, पता नहीं, जो धरी राय सो भरी राय, nothing to do, nowhere to go, देखो सुनो मत बोलो, wherever, whenever, whatever you are, be 100% करे नाटक, किसी को आओ मत कहो, किसी को जाओ मत कहो, ना कुछ पाना ना कुछ खोना, who asked you live at zero complete level, मौज में रहो, be happy.
श्री कृष्णा श्री कृष्णा श्री कृष्णा श्री कृष्णा। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः, गुरु साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म, तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः, तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। नास्ति बुद्धि अयुक्तस्य न चायुक्तस्य भावना, न चा भावयत शांति अशांतस्य कुतः सुखम। भगवान श्री कृष्ण इन श्रीमद् भगवद गीता in the second chapter he brings this topic. Ayuktasya buddhihi nasti. A person who is not a yogi. Yukta means the one who has the yukti, and the one who has the yukti is a yogi. So ayuktasya buddhihi nasti. Now who is ayukta? He who is under the tremendous influence of tamoguna and rajoguna. In the language that we have just studied, when our mind is either kshipta, moodha or vikshipta, under this state of our mind, there cannot be proper understanding. Understanding will be bias. And therefore, we have seen that when the Rajoguna, Tamoguna are quietened by proper techniques, then the mind becomes predominantly sattvic. And in that predominantly sattvic mind, one is able to differentiate between the Purusha and the Prakriti. See? So, Purusha and Prakriti separation is called as prasankhyanam. Tat param prasankhyanam iti achakshate. Param means supreme. Prasankhyanam means clarity. Clarity for what? The differentiation between Purusha and the Prakriti. Now what is the Prakriti? Prakriti is Trigunatmika, Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. Now out of these three, Sattva is the expression of the Sat in the life is Sattva. That is the mind. When the mind is under the influence of the Tamoguna, it becomes dull-witted, moodha. And if the mind is under the influence of the Rajoguna, it becomes Vikshipta and Akshipta. So when these two things, Tamoguna and Rajoguna, their influence is reduced sufficiently, then the mind remains sattvic. Then the sattvic mind will be able to understand what is said in the scriptures. Now what happens? When I am living as somebody, all my understanding will be with reference to that. See, about this I'll tell you one example, how this happens. After one of my talk was over somewhere, one lady came. I remember she was a Sindhi lady, Gol Vatol. She came. And then she said, Swamiji, your today's talk was so perfect for my daughter-in-law. you please come to our house and explain her. So she has come, but she doesn't want to change. No, the daughter-in-law who has not come, she should change by listening to me. Because the mind is too much preoccupied either with the kshipta, mudha, or the vikshipta. See? Is so straight away we have to understand. And for that, our Mahamantra, wherever you are, whenever you are, whatever you are, be 100%. So when we are sitting for satsanga, don't be here as a mother, father, husband, wife, brother, sister. No. Drop all your buddies outside and remain as nobody. Then we are really understanding what is said. Tat param prasakhyanam. That is called as the real pure mind. And in that pure mind only, these Purusha Prakriti Viveka, what is called as the Atma Khyati, clarity, is possible. And then we can understand what is the functioning, how the mind is functioning, whether the mind is responding or reacting, whether our thinking is biased or unbiased, whether our interactions or reactions. All these subtle points are possible only when we are in this param prasakhyanam, in the state of undisturbed by rajas and tamas. Now the question comes. Now, who is this functionary behind the various functions of the mind? See, mind by itself will not function. There has to be somebody. Mind is just an instrument. So who is that? And this is how, now the next topic comes up. It is called a Chiti Shakti. Now what is the Chiti Shakti? Chiti Shakti, here aparinamini, aprati prasankrama, darshita vishaya shuddha cha ananta cha. Now this Chiti Shakti is the same thing what we call Purusha or we call Kshetrajna or the Brahman. See, now to understand this, man is the Chiti Shakti or Purusha, see, or the Brahman. Now this man with his potentiality, he has become mother, father, brother, husband, wife. Now who is disturbed? These fellows are disturbed. And we get so much lost in that. But if we are able to clearly understand and experience that the one who is disturbed is somebody and that somebody is a product of conditioned expression of the Purusha. So therefore when I am going through good and bad experiences, I am able to analyze who is disturbed at this moment. Is it the man or the husband? Is it the man or the son? Is it the man or the father who is disturbed? Prasankhyanam. Now, who will do this? The one who is able to differentiate between Purusha, the conditioned expression of Paramatma through the Prakriti, and the Prakriti. See, this is what Bhagavan said, Nasti buddhi ayuktasya. So, he who has not come to this state, he will have no understanding at all. Buddhi means understanding. And therefore, if we have come to this Purusha Tattva properly, proper discrimination has happened, then what is that Purusha Tattva or the Chiti Shakti? Aparinamini. Aparinamini means it does not come under the influence of Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. See? Like the vision does not come under the influence of various colors and forms. Like the sugar cane does not suffer from diabetes. Like the fire doesn't get burnt by itself. See, like the cobra doesn't suffer from poisoning, venomous poisoning. No. In the same manner, aparinamini. So what is the rule? The rule is the illuminator is not influenced by what is illumined. That's all. Is it not true? Waking we eliminate by becoming a waker. But when the waking goes, we continue to exist. We may not be waker, but we continue to exist. So also with the dream and deep sleep. When this kind of understanding goes deeper in our system, then we come to know really the one who is disturbed is not me. It is this conditioned fellow who is disturbed. See, then what is to be done? Then play the game of life. Whatever you are supposed to play the role in that particular conditioned expression, do it to the best that to your ability, but don't get carried away by that. And this is what this Yoga Shastra tells us. Aparinamini, this Chiti Shakti or the Purusha is untouched by all that is illuminated. Second thing is um, aprapti sankramana. That means it is not influenced, therefore there is no change. Sankramana is infection, contagion. See? So there is a misery. The impact of the misery is there, then I will become miserable. But when the misery is eliminated and miseries do not make me miserable, then we have understood that we have come to the Purusha and Prakriti separation clearly. So, Prakriti is that where Vikruti happens. Matter is that which is subject to modification. We cannot change it. The only way is accept it gracefully. It's the only way. Whether you want to accept or not is not the option. It is a very clear thing that all that is due is bound to be, and we have only one choice: accept and become miserable, or accept and don't become miserable. But will it not be abnormal if there is some misery and you are not miserable? What people will say, this fellow is stone hearted or what? No, show that you are miserable. But in the heart of your heart, you are not miserable. Then Karnataka, play that you are miserable. In this manner, um, aprati sankramana, it will not be influenced by, that means a body will not be born. See? And in this manner, these two things happen. Then our mind or chitta has become clear, and then we can separate. This is called as the viveka khyati, or in other words, this is also called as the dharma mega samadhi. Nothing disturbs us. Now, the next thing comes. How this is happening? Because the truth, the Chiti Shakti is nirlepa. Nirlepa means that on which no impact can happen. Like the water is not broken when the waves break, and the water is not drowned in the ocean. See? If this is clear, I have only supported all the achievements and failures of my life. Like water alone has supported the waves and the ocean. But it is not disturbed by that. This understanding is practice of knowledge or yoga. Therefore, these uh, modifications because of the rajas and tamas are kamaesha, krodhaesha, rajoguna samudbhavaha, maha ashanaha, maha papma. And because of this desire, anger, frustration, they will be influencing our sense organs, our mind, our intellect, and our life is a mess. Therefore, friends, spiritual life is we have to live in proper understanding. Then third, darshita vishayaha, the consciousness or the Purusha or the Chiti Shakti is eliminating all that comes in front of it and also modifies also the modifications which come in front of us, and therefore this antakarana and modification of the mind or antakarana are eliminated by the Purusha or the Chiti Shakti, but do not get influenced by them. This is the practice. I'll show you or tell you one technique. Try that. When we see something and when we look at something, what is the difference? Seeing happens. When your eyes are open, seeing is happening. But when you look, that means in that seeing, the seer is added. And then we look, who is this? See? So if you are sitting in a dark room, eyes are open, because it is darkness, nothing can be seen. But because the eyes are open, the seeing is happening. Because seeing is happening, but the seer is not born because there is nothing to see. That experience is said here as the Chiti Shakti or the Purusha. This we told in different words. Experience without experiencer. Knowledge without the knower. See? Darshita Vishaya. So if it is misery, one do not become miserable. If it is success, one doesn't jump out of the skin. Ha ha, oh, no. See? Darshita Vishaya. Then Shuddha. See? This Chiti Shakti is Jnapti Matra. Jnapti means what? Knowledge, not knowledge of. All that we know is existence of, knowledge of, the joy of, experience of. Remove this of principle. Knowledge. Jnapti Matra. This is called Kaivalya. That knowledge wherein the knower known duality has not happened. Like the example I gave you, in the darkness, eyes are open, so seeing is happening, but the seen and the seer, they are not born. That experience is mentioned over here. See? Like we play with the children. So that time the child is very much concerned about victory and defeat. He wants to defeat the elderly. I want to defeat dad. And the dad is only time pass. He is neither interested in winning or getting defeated. Till the food is ready, you have to keep this Rakshas busy. Therefore, it's playing. Nothing else. See? But for the child, it's an issue. I want to win. See, friends, spirituality cannot be much simpler than this. Don't take life seriously. But we take life so seriously, as if we are at the fag end of our life. Everything is going to be over. Nothing. So many good, bad things have come and gone. We are the same. So many waking, dream, deep sleep have come and gone. What happened to us? If you just look within, you will come to discover this, that when we were not in this world, there was nothing lacking. World was going on all right. When we leave, this world will continue. We are not wanted in this world. But ahankara vimudhatma karta ahamiti vanyate. But we feel as if I am doing everything. And because of that we suffer. So the Chiti Shakti or the Purusha is only Jnaswarupa or Jnapti Matra. Knowledge uncontaminated by the thoughts, vritti. How simple it is. Therefore, knowledge of cooking contaminated by cooking object. Knowledge of mathematics contaminated by the mathematics. Knowledge by itself. When all the contents of knowledge are removed, contentless knowledge is reality. What we know is the knowledge of the contents. And if there are no thoughts, there are no contents in the mind. When there are no contents in the mind, then it is knowledge. Be attentive. Then it is knowledge. What? Knowledge of absence of the things. And again we are caught up. Then we go one step further. Presence and absence of things in the mind have no impact on us. Then we have reached the jnapti. Therefore, if you remember, we have told you that first of all, make absence of something as the object of your experience. So, absence of what? Absence of sound. So, make silence as the object of experience. But then we get obsessed by the silence. Small little things are enough to upset us. We become highly susceptible to even small little disturbances. Then we go one step further. Whether there is a sound or there is absence of sound, who cares? क्या फर्क पड़ता है? This is what keeps us going on the spiritual path. We keep on talking. People change, people don't change. क्या फर्क पड़ता है? See, friends, in other words, we have to transcend dvandva, the dualism. Dvandvaihi vimuktaha sukha-dukkha sajnaihi. The one who has transcended the joy and the sorrows. Because both are eliminated by me. So I have to be someone who is associated with both and therefore doesn't belong to anybody. Like the children. The husband and wife are always on a dharma kshetre, kurukshetre mode. So the child is very smart. If he wants to get something done from the father, then he will go to the father and tell, Dad, you are so intelligent. How come you got married to this lady? She doesn't understand anything. Now this fool is made a pakka fool. Then, Dad, I want iPhone. Then the child will say, I know you are afraid of mommy. She will not allow you. But why you should be afraid? You are independent. Even my child understands this, but she doesn't understand. I think I'll give you, and is given. Then something is to be taken from the mother. Comes to the mother. Mom, you are so beautiful, so intelligent. Where did you find this character? Can't you find somebody better? That dumb lady is, please. Exactly the same way. Sometimes the joy comes, overpowers us, and we become joyful. Sometimes the misery comes, we are overpowered, and we become miserable. And the Prakriti is enjoying. Beokoof, you are God. Can there be simple spirituality than this? Therefore, dvandvaihi vimuktaha. How can we go beyond these complementary opposites? Only by one way. Only by recognition that everything in this world is only existing in pairs. There is nothing in this world which is solitary all alone. No, except Paramatma. Everything is in dualism. Joy, sorrows, gain, loss, friend, enemy, birth, death, health, disease. If this is how the world is, there is no option but to accept this. See? Therefore, this Chiti Shakti is untouched by all the complementary opposites. This is what happens when we are able to appreciate all the modifications of the mind are eliminated by me, but I am not influenced by them. Recognize this. Then Shuddha, then Anantacha. Anantacha means what? This Chiti Shakti or Purusha is infinite. How it is infinite? Vision is illuminating to all the colors and forms. So, with reference to all colors and forms which are finite, vision is infinite. Sense organs are limited in their own field. Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. But the mind is infinite. It includes everything. So, what is infinite? Ananta is that which is all inclusive and rejects nothing. So, the mind includes all joy, sorrows, and everything. Now, go one step further. The I, the Vijnana Maya Kosha, is present everywhere. Joy, sorrows, what not. And a pure consciousness which is supporting the waking, dream, deep sleep, and samadhi. Never absent, ever present, supporting everything. Therefore, as you start migration, colors and forms are finite, vision is infinite, sense organs are finite, mind is infinite. Mind is finite, the I is infinite, the I is finite, then the Chetana, the life is infinite, the Chetana is finite, but the Chaitanya is infinite. How they are finite? Because color red is not yellow. Therefore, vision is beyond that. Sense organs are finite in their field. Mind is infinite, includes everything. Mind is influenced by raga, dvesha. The I is supporting both of them. Therefore, I, the Vijnanamaya Kosha, is infinite. Then this I is with reference to the um, world where we are existing. Then this I sleeps, but Chetana continues. So Chetana is infinite. But Chetana is finite because Jada Chetan. Chetana, sentient versus inert, it has become finite. But when we come to Chaitanya, Chaitanya supports both the inert world as existence and the sentient world as conscious existence. And therefore, Anantacha. You know the best part? We don't have to do anything. Whether we want or we don't want, we are that. See? Anantacha. Therefore, this is called as Sattva Gunatmika cha iyam ataha viparita viveka khyati iti. Therefore, this quality of our mind is viveka khyati. Now, we are able to distinctly experience this is the misery, and I am the eliminator of the misery. If I become miserable, then I am a samsari. If I experience the miseries but don't become miserable, then I play the role. When you play the role, you don't become anybody. Then you are going through the experiences, good or bad, yet you are able to stand apart. No struggle. So this is the height of purity. This is called as the Viveka Khyati. Now, this should not be mistaken as Viveka Khyati. In this purity, even the Viveka Khyati is also an objective understanding. In the Shuddha Sthiti, one is in predominantly sattva guna, and because of the sattva guna, the Purusha or the Chiti is untouched by any of the modifications of the Prakriti. Now, after having said this thing, Bhagavad Gita says to us, तत्ववित्तु महाबाहो गुणकर्म विभागयोः गुणा गुणेषु वर्तन्ते इति मत्वा न सज्जते. हे महाबाहो, हे Arjun, Tattvavid, he who has known his essential nature, Tattva, and Tattvavan Guna Karma Vibhagayoho, Sattva Rajas Tamas Guna, Karma, the effect thereof. Tattvavittu Mahavaho Guna Karma Vibhagayoho. Then what is his understanding? Guna Guneshu Vartante. The vision or the Jnanendriya are the Sattva Guna. The objects are Tamoguna. Their contact is established by Rajoguna. Guna Guneshu Vartante. Therefore, iti matva na sajjate. Therefore, he goes through the experiences but never becomes an experiencer. This is the Tattvavid Gunakarma Vivagayo. Unless we become distinctly aware of this, we will keep on going through good and bad experiences and we get lost in that. Therefore, ataha tasyan viraktam chittam tam api khyati nirunadhi. But we should not be satisfied only with this. We go even beyond the Viveka Khyati. See, what is going beyond Viveka Khyati? Viveka Khyati, we are still functioning through the mind. But when we come to Dharma Megha Samadhi, we have attained sufficient purity and predominantly sattvic. Once in a while, maybe sattva, rajas, sattva is disturbed by rajas, tamas, but not all the time. This is Dharma Megha Samadhi. Shuddho dharmo vivardhate. The mind becomes purer and purer. See? And this is what is called as the Paravairagya, is ultimate purity. See? Now when this happens, the next step comes. Tad avastham chittam samskar upagam bhavati sa nirvija samadhi. Now such a mind which is now exposed to this for longer period of time, slowly and slowly, then the mind is slowly like the roasted seeds. What are the roasted seeds? The nutritional value remains intact, but the germinatory value is gone. See? When you take the chickpea, you sow, it will germinate. But if the same thing is roasted and then you sow that, there won't be germination. In the same manner, in the fire of this wisdom, how simple it is, how beautiful it is. All experiences will keep on happening, but there will not be any germination. Now, what is the germination? When the experiences create, be very attentive. When the experiences create an experiencer, as a result, some samskar, some dents and dots are created on the mind. Those dents and dots are responsible for our next life. See? But when experiences are happening, but impressions are not created. How it is possible? Very simple, man, not difficult. What? We have touched the fire sometime during our childhood. We got burned. Now, do we have the samskara impact on our mind that I like or I dislike the fire? We don't have. The reason is we have learned. So, what should be the real spiritual practice? Only focus on this thing. When we go through the experiences, learn from every single experience of life. When we learn, impressions are not formed. See how simple it is. But we don't learn. Problem is this. We react. And then it becomes our second nature. And how we react? देखो सुनो बोलते रहो, commenting on everything, evaluating everything. This is how we call it working by the mind, default settings. Mind is not at all under control. We have to have some kind of appreciation, depreciation, evaluation, suggestion about everything that comes across us. And all that is only through speech. Manifest mind is speech. Mind is unmanifest speech. Mind is the cause which reacts, and reaction is the speech or the words. Therefore, this also we told you. Try to think on any topic, but don't use a single word. You cannot think. This other way we told you, don't talk to yourself. We only complain. Oh, gee, mind is too disturbed. Disturbed mind means what? Chattering with oneself, going on, going on. And in that, what we do? We only create a question. If this happens, I will do this thing. If that comes, I will do this thing. But and nothing happens. See, learn these tricks of mind. The mind cannot survive without going in the past or the future. In the utter present, mind dissolves in consciousness like the ice dissolves in the waters. See? This way, when we interact with the world, no impressions are formed, and earlier impressions, because of this practice, the earlier impressions also slowly get erased. And for that also we told you a technique. Don't talk about your past. When we talk about our past, we are irrigating, pruning, supporting, manuring our old time. And the old time belonged to this wretched body, not to us. When we talk about our childhood, childhood belonged to whom? To the body, not to you. You are the same. When we practice this consciously, you will see it is easier to remain in the present. But normally what happens? Anybody talks on any topic, if we are there, we get similar type of topic from our memory. And we start then. Yes, I remember when I was a child, who asked you? Our Maha Mantra? Who asked you? We want to get involved, we want to participate, and then create a lot of garbage on our mind. See, friends. And the simplest thing, can you be happy yesterday? No. Can you be happy tomorrow? God knows. If you can be happy, you can be happy only now. In other words, if you are happy, you are in the now. If you are miserable, either you are in the past or you are in the future. Because presence is bliss. Past and future, they are imaginations or memories. Imagination and memories have contents. Happiness has no content. It is not the happiness of eating rasgulla. Then I remember when I went to Kolkata, there we had such a lovely one. So that happiness you had, it is a memory. Then you will again like to go to Calcutta. Think again and again. Therefore, this is called Nirbija Samadhi. Nirbija means our mind does not carry the impressions because of which our next birth is possible. See? Nirbija Samadhi. No seeds. And without the seeds, there cannot be a plant. But when the mind of such a great seeker is completely free from all the impressions on the mind, they are ironed out. Then punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, punarapi janani, jatare shayanam, all the rubbish will disappear. It is called as fulfillment in life. Then there is neither fear of death nor imagination of one's own death. After having studied Vedanta, if a passing thought comes in our mind, I think now this is time for me to die, your all Vedanta has gone to gutters. We suffer mainly because of the fear of death. We don't suffer because of death. Because the I is still there, strong enough. Therefore, this Nirbija Samadhi, the mind is now free from all hang-ups, no impressions. See? And this happens once in lifetime. Thereafter, yogarato va bhogarato va sangarato va sangavihina yasya brahmani ramate chittam nandati 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 eva bhaja govindam bhaja govindam. So many different ways you can discover this truth. Any action or any interaction with the world, if it creates the arrogance of success and goodness, self esteem, or the guilt of one's own activities, then we are a samsari. See? When our good expression does not create a sense of holier than thou, and any action of ours does not create a guilt in our mind, then alone we are heading toward Nirvija Samadhi. All samskar, chitta samskara upagam bhavati. They become null and void. And because the samskaras are not there, there cannot be any next birth. See, friends. So, the antakarana, the mind has got, now we are summarizing, the antakarana or the mind has three kinds of samskar, karma samskar. Because of that, our next life is determined. Which are those samskar? That sutra will come subsequently. I am just referring to it. They are ayu, jati, ayu, bhogaha. Where and as what we will be born dependent on the karma samskara of our last life. They are called as karmashaya. our last life's karma determine we will be born as what? Jati. Whether animal, human being, who will be born? Jati. Then the second is bhoga. What kind of experiences we are due? It is already a tick mark there. Like when you go to the hospital, they tell, give him this medicine, this medicine, this medicine. It's already determined. You don't have the choice to avoid it. Bhoga. The third, ayuhu. How long this body will remain is already determined. Neither you can lengthen nor you can shorten. See, friends. And this is only because karma samskar. And if there are no karma samskar, if there are no impressions on the mind, so live in this world. Chatro, mitre, putre, bandhav, ma kuru yatnam vigraha sandhav. Don't create friends and enemies, success and defeat as the characteristic of life. Therefore, किसी को आओ मत कहो, don't create friends. किसी को जाओ मत कहो, don't create enemies. See? Mind will be free. Because mind requires a reference to think. Without a reference, mind cannot think. And what is the reference that we have given to our mind is the body. And with the body, then mother, father, brother, husband, wife, Indian, non-Indian, Tamilian, Gujarati. So many references. And those references keep on creating multiple thought patterns. See? Then the Tamilians say, our Tamil language is the oldest language. Gujarati will say, no, Gujarati is the sweetest language. See? Get lost in that. So neither what you talk in Tamil you understand, nor the Gujaratis are sweet when they are angry. And yet we are lost in that. See, friends, we have to get rid of all the specialities. This is the Nirbij Samadhi. Therefore, no impression should be allowed to be formed on the mind. Then, when the Chitta Vritti Nirodha takes place, then what happens? Like the ice gets dissolved in the waters, in the ocean, exactly the same way, be attentive. In deep sleep, the mind dissolves in the consciousness. Now here there is little difference, be attentive. In deep sleep, according to Yoga Shastra, abhava pratyaya lambana vrittihi nidra. Sleep is a thought where waking and dream are absent. It is a thought. Because Yoga Shastra is Prakriti Pradhan. Their attention is to bring the Kaivalya. The division of knower-known knowledge should be gone. Tada drashtuhu sarupe avasthanam. Then we come back to our essential nature. Therefore, Yoga Shastra is giving all the emphasis only on the Prakriti. The result will be come back to yourself. But according to Vedanta, it is not that way. In case of Vedanta, what is deep sleep? In deep sleep, we go back to our divine nature every night. Ahar ahar brahma gamayati. See? Otherwise, when we are out of our good sleep, we are so fresh. Where from the freshness has come? Because we were one with the divine that we are essentially. See the difference? Therefore, in this Nirbij Samadhi, what happens is that the Prakriti entertains no objectivity, no otherness, no triputi. and therefore no possibility of next life. But in case of Vedantic understanding, it is चित्तम चिच्च विजानीया तकार रहितम यदा तकारो विषयाध्यास जपा रागौ यथा मणौ. चित्त is chit. Chitta is mind. Chit is consciousness. So chittam chitcha vijaniyat. Come to know that the mind is nothing but consciousness. When takara rahitam yada, when the objectivity from the knowledge is removed, objectless awareness, our J. Krishnamurti's words. Our knowledge is always containing in its womb the object. Knowledge of, knowledge of. See? Therefore, what Vedanta Shastra tells us that learn to remain indifferent to the Prakriti, to the objectivity. Therefore, dukkheshu anudvignamanaha. When the miseries come, don't become miserable. Sukheshu vigata spruhaha. When you are having some good experiences, don't be attached to that. Vita raga bhaya krodha. Get rid of the desire, anger, greed, etc., fear, get rid of. Sthitadhi. Then your wisdom is steady, not influenced by any contents. Therefore, when chitta vritti nirodha is said, in that the nirodhavastha, the last stage of the mind, the thought process is completely arrested. Then thought free experience is pure consciousness. If thought free experience is pure consciousness, what does it mean? You cannot have the memory of this. You cannot enjoy. I enjoy meditation. You are a bhogi, not a yogi. As if only during meditation we are divine and afterwards we are devil. No. These are all the impacts of the Prakriti that we associate ourselves with. Therefore, when chitta vritti nirodha takes place, all the samskar, everything is completely gone. See? So let the good or bad thoughts come, we don't get involved. Therefore, our Mahamantra, dekho, suno. World is only two things. Dekho, see means forms, rupa. Suno means sounds, words. World is nothing but nama rupatmakam jagat. Only two things. Therefore, one technique I told you, listen to silence, meaning remain indifferent to sounds. This experience is the ultimate truth. Neither it can be improved nor it can be destroyed. Neither it can be repeated nor it can be changed. And therefore, there cannot be any memory of knowing the self. Memory falls in the purview of the mind. It is the trance mind. It is trance chitta experience. See, it is for this purpose when we are constantly practicing this in our day-to-day life. In simple words, it is called as Sakshi Bhav. We live in this world. Don't get involved. Don't go and dig somebody else's grave. Hey, where were you before you were coming over here. Oh, I was there in that grave. Past is only graveyard. But that grave was very good. It was having AC. Oh, don't get lost in that. See? Therefore, Nirbij Samadhi is that where karma phala are not possible because samskara have gone completely. And then this Nirbij Samadhi is called as Asampradnyat Yoga. Be attentive. Two words, Samadhi and Yoga. Samadhi is at the level of the mind. See, yoga is transcending the mind and merging in the pure consciousness. Tada drashtuhu swarupa avasthanam. In our swarupa, in our essential nature, there are no thoughts. In the essential nature of the water, there are no waves. There is no ocean. There are no clouds. There is no ice. These are aupadhika. Because of the upadhi, some conditions, the same water is called differently in the same manner. In our essential nature, none of these things are there. So this is called asampradnyat yoga and sampradnyat samadhi. In sampradnyat samadhi, the otherness is valid, but it is not influencing us. So when this sampradnyat yoga, when we are leading our life at the relative level, but this relativity is no more an issue and a problem for us in our day-to-day life, then slowly we are graduated from the sampradnyata yoga to asampradnyata yoga. So asampradnyata yoga is where even the recognition of the duality is invalid. Like when we play with the children, their victory and defeat is invalid for us. See, like the water, we'll never try to quieten the waves. Like the water, will never be afraid of drowning in the ocean. In the same manner, such a great master is abiding in the absolute and playing the game of life. Kurvanne veha karmani jiji visheshadagam sama. Live 100% every moment. See, this is what is most important. So, na tatra kinchi sampradnyayati iti asampradnyat. Dvividha sa yoga chitta vritti nirodha iti. Therefore, asampradnyat samadhi is na kinchi sampradnyayati iti, where the sense of otherness is completely invalid. Like we see the reflection in the mirror, but there is zero value for that reflection. Same manner, the wise man living in this world of relativity but gives zero value to relativity. Then how such Mahatmas live? They live only as a drama. Therefore, the more you are with yourself, you are at ease, relax. Na kinchit sampradnyati asampradnyataha. And this is how the second sutra was tada drashtuhu yogaha chitta vritti nirodha. So therefore, what is this yoga? Just to summarize few things. First is, yoga is defined as chitta vritti nirodha. Then what is the chitta? Chitta or antakaran has got mana buddhi chitta ahankar. According to yoga, mana buddhi chitta ahankar is not there. According to Vedanta, mana buddhi chitta ahankar, it is antakaran chatushtay. According to the Nath Sampradaya, it is antakaran panchakam. Antakaran is the one when the thoughts erupt. Thoughts are of four types, and therefore it is called antakaran panchakam. Like Jagra, Sapna, Sushupti, three. Paramatma, Turiya, fourth. That doesn't mean he is fourth. But because we are counting first three, therefore it is called as fourth. This is how the Chitta Vrittis are a modification of the Antakarana. Then next is Nirodha. Nirodha is all the modifications of Antakarana are halted. There are no modifications. Meaning what? The mind is like a mirror. See? Everything is reflected, everything is supported, nothing is rejected, but nothing is retained. No memories. Mirror never lives in the past. Suppose you go and stand before the mirror. Mirror will not tell. 250 years ago, Hitler also came and stood in front of me. No. No memory. See, we have to learn to forget. Therefore, yoga is controlling the mind or the thoughts. The mind is sattva pradhan. When pure existence is associated with knowledge, sentiency is born. When pure existence cannot be associated with the knowledge because of the upadhi, the inert world is born. Therefore, the chitta alone is, with the rajoguna becomes agitated, tamoguna becomes dull. So we have to take care of all these things. Therefore, one has to recognize how the modifications of the mind happen. When we give importance to something or somebody, thoughts start coming out of the mind. See, I cannot become disturbed because of your grandchild. Because zero value for me. And you cannot be but disturbed because of the grandchild. Well, you have any importance. See? So what should the spiritual practice? Karnataka. Play your role as a grandfather, as a husband, as a wife, play the role. You have to play 100% sincerely, but don't become serious. Okay? Then the Shuddha Sthiti we are approaching. Then the mind remains uncontaminated, although it is functioning in the contaminants all around. In this manner, the second sutra we have seen. First was Atha Yoganushasanam. The second sutra was Yogaha Chittavritti Nirodha. Now the third sutra is taken for studies. And what is the third sutra? Tada drashtuhu swarupe avasthanam. Meaning when Chittavritti Nirodha takes place, then we come back to our essential divine nature. Then it is called as yoga. So the second and the third sutra, they should be understood together, not separately. So if we want to use it in a proper way for understanding, then add one word yada in the second sutra. So what will be the second sutra? Yada yogaha chitta vritti nirodha tada drashtuhu sarupe avasthanam. When we understand that the yoga is suspension of thought formation, then thought-free experience is abiding in the self. Tada, drashtuhu sarupe avastha. Now what is that? How is that? We'll keep it for tomorrow. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om